there are individuals that have been in communication with groups like ISIL who have a desire to conduct an attack, yes.
That are living in the U.S. right now?
Correct.
That was Assistant Director of the FBI's Counter-Terror Division, Michael Steinbach, on January 30th, telling CNN's Pam Brown that the Bureau is aware of communication between U.S. residents and ISIS. As we continue on America's Forum, we note that communication has become more evident as this past week, a U.S. Air Force veteran allegedly tried to join ISIS by heading to Syria, but he was turned back by Turkish authorities. So the question becomes, if this is going on and the FBI knows about it, why aren't more steps being taken to circumvent it? For more on this developing story, we're pleased to be joined by Ron Hosko. Ron's a former FBI Assistant Director, and he's currently president of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. He's Skyping in from Washington, D.C., and we are rejoined by Newsmax contributor Larry Elder out of Newsmax L.A. So, Ron, given your experience with the Bureau, can you tell us how the Bureau tries to keep tabs on ISIS members or ISIS wannabes here, and why isn't there something more proactive to prevent them heading overseas and joining ISIS?
Well, JD, thank you for having me. I can assure you that Mike, the picture that Mike Steinbach is painting is certainly one of the greatest, if not the greatest concern to the FBI today, and it has been. And I can assure you that the FBI is tremendously proactive in trying to identify these people domestically who are motivated by what they see on the news, by the activities of ISIS or ISIL or other terrorist groups across the world. And the FBI is actively trying to find those people who might be motivated to action, whether that is action domestically or that action is to travel overseas to engage in some sort of jihad.
Ron, at what point does the FBI decide that somebody has crossed the line? It's not illegal to go on a website. It's not illegal to get jihadi material. At what point do you become a danger to the point where you've done something illegal?
Well, that is really the magic of this effort, of this counter-terror effort. It is trying to really allow people to engage in constitutionally protected activities. That is, venting your First Amendment rights and engaging in other protected activity. That includes going to the internet and researching and looking. And the FBI tries to very carefully balance those protected activities with investigative efforts that will go after those who are motivated to action. And it's a tough job, because there are going to be people who criticize the FBI for being overly intrusive, for questioning their actions, and really it becomes, when do thoughts get translated or motivated by act?
It is
and
that.
how do people start to act?
That classic argument, liberty versus security, and how do you preserve both and strike the balance? Homeland Security, of course, of paramount concern to so many of us. The Secretary of that department, Jay Johnson, had this to say on this greater topic in early February. Let's take a listen.
The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security do a pretty good job of tracking the travel of individuals of suspicion of investigating potential acts of terror or material support to terrorism. Just this past Friday, there were arrests of 5 individuals who were providing material support allegedly to ISIL.
All right, so that was Jay Johnson back in February. But, Ron, there's been a lot of talk, and in fact, we're going to listen to a portion of an interview we had yesterday with retired Major General Paul Vallely, talking about what he believes to be jihadist training facilities in the United States. Let's take a listen to this as well.
So there is a list of them. The FBI has those lists. We're tracking, as far as I know, the recruitment that goes in to those training centers. They have guns, they have ammunition, they have firing areas where they go out and practice.
Paul, sorry to interrupt.
They also have instruction. Yeah,
Paul, sorry to
sure.
interrupt, but if they've got the list, why haven't the feds taken them down?
Well, that's a good question. Why haven't they been taken down everywhere?
And Ron Hosko, it's a question we got to ask you. Are there centers, and why haven't they been taken down?
Well, we have seen in the past where like-minded individuals would go to, say, paintball locations and engage in tactical training. And again, trust me, where the FBI knows and where the FBI sees, the FBI will try to penetrate a group. The FBI will try to get next to an individual who seems like they are motivated to action based on what they say and what they do. And what the FBI wants to make is, and when they want to spring their trap, so to speak, is when they have overt acts that constitute a realistic threat, not the rantings of a lunatic, not the innocent ramblings of somebody who aspires, but somebody who has taken overt acts that constitute a threat, so that when the FBI does spring that trap, they can prosecute you. And this is a very delicate balance that they're trying to strike, because other students of the Constitution will say, oh, the FBI's gone too far, or they've entrapped someone. So the FBI has, they've gone down this road before, as some may say, this isn't their first rodeo, so that when they make a case, when they do spring their trap, they have a case and they can prosecute you successfully. They don't want to be accused of entrapment, although they will be. And the last thing they want to do is lose a case because somebody's posed an entrapment defense successfully.
Ron, 30 seconds for your answer. How many of these so-called terror camps are there in the country? And they are not, by definition, illegal, are they?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see bona fide terror camps that are training under the willing and watching eye of the FBI, where the FBI has done nothing. I think what the other speaker might have been referring to is groups of people that go and get some tactical training at a paintball site or a gun range, and that in and of itself is not illegal. It's, have you taken a substantial step to provide material support to a terror group, or to take some steps to go over and get in some real life training? That's the greater concern for the FBI.
And Ron Hosko, we will have to leave it there. Our thanks to you, and our thanks also to Larry Elder. Coming up, our political panel right now on Newsmax Update.